Justin called the Packers game the best passing game you guys have had this year. When you look back at that game, what kind of stood out about why you were able to have the success you had through the year?
There was a lot of factors. I think Justin felt good. I think, again, the continuing to grow through what we're doing, his ability to kind of manipulate protections when we need to. I thought the protection was better. So that, I think, anytime you have a cleaner pocket, you have an opportunity to perform the task a little bit easier. But I think, the receivers did a nice job being where they were supposed to be when they were supposed to be. So it was just a little bit better execution maybe than we've had. But it usually starts up front.
Do you expect him to practice today?
I think he's trending better now, so he's back in the building doing everything, and so it's trending that way.
The volume of quarterback runs against the Packers was down from what we had seen for a month plus. That's both called and scrambles. What is your interpretation of that? I know one game sample size the last time out.
We only ran 52 plays as opposed to 70 plays, so that part of it, that's part of it. The other part of it is, again, who you're playing against. I think every team's going to kind of play to a point where you can only do certain things, right? And so you have to take advantage where you feel like you can. And so these guys pose a whole different set of problems for us, so that we have to make sure that we give ourselves the best advantage, so whatever that might be. So sometimes it's going to be more, sometimes it'll be less. I think it's just all, how we feel is best to attack with the guys that we have.
When you look at a team that has the depth along the D-line that they have, what can you do offensively to counteract that, if anything?
No, I think you just have to be more aware of who's on the field. They're all, the level of skill that they have up front. They all do certain things really well, and so we have to make sure that that's on our mind. We have to make sure we do a really good job of, giving the guys the tools and understanding what we expect from each individual, rather than just saying, hey, it's this front. You have to get really specific with who the guys are, because they will roll those guys through.
Does tempo help you with that too? If you see guys out there that you like out there, to just
it does and it doesn't. I think it can. I think sure it can, and so that's another element that you could use for sure.
Luke, you mentioned the pass protection being better, and Matt Eberflus mentioned that as well. Is that the biggest key to unlocking Justin Fields at this point? Is that the biggest, or has that been the biggest issue in the passing game?
No, I listen. I think I say it all the time. It takes 11 people to perform everything. So I think that is a big part of it, and it always will be. Like the line of scrimmage part of it is why we've been able to run the ball well, but being able to protect in the pass game is the most important thing that you need to do. So like you talk about developing a quarterback, like the first thing you do is you go through pass protections before you even talk about a pass play. You got to be able to protect the quarterback first, and so yes, that's a huge element of why.
You guys have had 2 opportunities to reassess things when there's been a break, and this is a question specifically about Justin. When you get into that second phase of the season, so between the 2 breaks, and you look at how far he's come, how much better has he gotten during that time?
I don't think there's like a specific measuring stick to that, but I think he has, and that's been the most important thing, is that every opportunity he's gotten to get on the field and play, we feel like the entire offense is playing a little bit better together. And when you have the quarterback growing, that's going to help the rest of the unit grow. And so, he's continued to do that, and we have to make sure that kind of stays on that path. So, but to say there's a specific measuring stick, I don't really have that for you. So.
Yeah, I'm not looking for a number or anything like that, just your general thoughts on it. Do you feel like you're game planning and scheming with a different quarterback than you had coming into the season in terms of what his capabilities are? I know he plays a lot of the same style and everything like that.
I think the 2 of us have gotten to know each other better is probably the better way to say that. And so with that, there's more comfort in knowing where to go with each other and how to respond to each other. Play caller and quarterback have always got to be on the same page, and obviously over time we've gotten to be, we've grown together in that area.
So is his progress what you expected, or is he ahead of what you thought, or did you not put an expectation on it? Like what he's been able to do so far?
No, I really didn't. I didn't have a level of where I think he should be. I've made it pretty process driven in the sense that we got to continue to grow and grow together, and then grow the unit, through that relationship. So yes, I think he's just continuing to grow, and he's got to continue to grow if we want to go where we want to go.
He's 95 yards away from becoming, I think it's the third quarterback ever to rush for 1,000 yards in a season. Given how rare that is, especially in today's NFL, what does that say to you just about the type of player you have?
Yeah, no. The one thing that immediately, maybe not immediately, but within that first couple months of being around Justin, you saw the type of guy he was, the type of competitor he was, the type of teammate he is. He's a fighter. He wants to win, and they'll do whatever it takes to win. I think that speaks to the type of teammate he is and what he'll do for this organization more than anything else. I mean, yes, he's a phenomenal athlete. The things we've seen him do on the field have been awesome. Have been really cool to watch and be a part of. And but I think for me, the bigger thing is how do we grow him to be the leader that he wants to become and the player that he wants to become. And I think all that stuff is, based on the type of person that he is and the type of work ethic that he has.
What's your interest in seeing Leatherwood, seeing what you got in Leatherwood, and how much of that is kind of Chris Morgan's call as far as how prepared he is to, at this point to get a look?
I think first off, we're always going to do what we feel gives us the best opportunity to win. That's kind of the first. Let's just start there. But obviously, extremely interested to see where he can go, because I think he's a guy, right, who got here and had a slow start, then get sick, and but now we've seen him get better each and every week. So yeah, I think the opportunities will continue to grow for him. But we're never going to sacrifice one particular person's growth over what we feel like is best opportunity to win.
Luke, even if it gives you a better chance to win next year?
I think it's more, we owe it to everybody in that room is fighting their tails off to try to win every single game that we play right now.
Your evaluation. That was telling us at the very least that he was going to continue to rotate in there with Riley. What are you looking for with Alex to just say, okay, you're our starting right tackle moving forward? And then when Larry Borum is healthy enough to return, how does he fit into that mix?
I don't have the answer to the second part just yet because I don't know where he's at health-wise. But the first part of it is, again, I think it's what gives us the best opportunity. And we've seen from last week, we saw it from the Tevin Lucas thing we did earlier, that this thing can work, and we're gonna keep going with that. And so how much each guy plays, we're still figuring all that stuff out. But yeah, you'll see both guys for sure.
Do you have any interest in seeing Tevin play tackle, or do you look at him as just a guard at this point?
Any interest? I don't know how to answer that necessarily because I think he's a guy who could do it. But I think what's most important is that he continues to grow at what he's at. I think, moving inside this year gave him an opportunity to kind of find himself, and I think he has. And he's done a really nice job owning that role, and I think that he has an opportunity to be a really good guy inside. So I don't think there's any necessarily interest to try to move him somewhere else, but I think he's capable of doing that.
You talked about consistency with Halas, but what specifically do you want to see from him over these final 4 weeks?
It's Halas has done a nice job of kind of, again, we challenge those guys a lot. Receiver room has as hard as anybody in this building as far as all the things we ask him to do. So you ask a rookie to come in here and do all that stuff. So again, to see a natural growth happen for him has been really good to see, right? These last couple of weeks, he's been owning it in the classroom. It's performing pretty good on the field for us too. We're giving him more opportunities than he's had. So that it's just kind of seeing that ascending. We don't need him to go be a superstar right now, or we don't need him to go be somebody he's not. We just need him to be the best Halas he can be each and every day. And as long as he's getting better, we feel like he has a bright future. So we want to just keep that growth going.
We've talked with you in the last couple of weeks about Claypool and about how he's learning this offense, and you just said the receivers have it tough. When he misses practice because he's hurt, does that set him back at all, or is there anything you can do to make up for that time on task on the field? Because we've heard Matt say over and over again, there's no replacing time on the field.
Yeah, I mean that's true. You don't to actually perform the task. That experience invaluable. But walkthroughs and meetings and questions and having sit downs with him and spending extra time with him, we can get the mental part of it, all that stuff figured out. It's more that relationship you have with your quarterback. It's the seeing or feeling what it feels to line up in a specific alignment and how you're supposed to attack somebody in the run game or the pass game. All that stuff you don't get, but as far as knowing what to do and how to do it, he should be fine.
A couple more. Finish has been a buzzword around here for the last month. So as you guys try to get over that hump, from your experience and from your vantage point, what would be the value and the benefits, both short and long term, for Justin and the offense to get one of these fourth quarter, late game pressure situation drives to produce points and a victory?
Yeah, I truly don't, and maybe I'm the outcast, I don't truly believe that one moment is going to change anything. I think that where we are, where we said we were when we got together and we wanted to put a particular play style on film, we want to make sure we're playing the game the way we want to play it. We want our film, we want people to feel our film. We need to continue to grow in that area. And then when you continue to grow in your execution, then that stuff will happen. And then when you start looking outside, it's like, oh, we need this, or we need that moment, or we need, I think that's when you get lost in what really matters, and that's playing together, and that's getting a high level of execution. And I think as our execution continues to get better, then those things will happen where we won't even need maybe all those last minute, shenanigans that we keep running into. So I think that it's, as you watch our film from last week, our execution wasn't great. And like these certain moments of the game, and that's what hurt us. And I don't think there's a particular 2-minute drive or anything like that we need, but winning is contagious. And so when we, I think to your point, when you start to win, I think then you start to get a better confidence about yourself. But I think what you guys have seen and what you feel from our offense is that the guys believe and that the guys feel like they're getting better, and the confidence exudes from that. And I think that's what, the product's looking better.
What creates that winning level of execution so that it becomes consistent?
Well, it's just what you said, Flu said. It's taking it every day on the practice field and proving it every single day, and guys getting that relationship together. So you see, EQ make a great play down the field, right? Now him and Justin creating a relationship. You've seen Nikhil make a play down the field. You've seen Cole grow with Justin. So it's those relationships. Mooney, all the growth he had. It's that relationships. It's the repetitions. And when you put good players and they get that relationship, that's when the good things start happening.
Going back to Chase, Matt said that he's not all the way up to speed in the offense, but he's close from
Can you say that? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the beginning of it.
As far as Chase is concerned,
Okay, yeah.
Matt said that he's not all the way up to speed, but he's getting there. From your point of view, where's he at, and what are the steps that you want to see him take to get fully up to speed before the
Yeah, I think Chase is in pretty good shape now. I think it's like anything, when you hear a play call and how quickly that gets absorbed, he's probably not to where the other guys are because they've been hearing it for 6 months or more. But as far as knowing what to do and how to do it, I think he's in pretty good shape to where he can handle most of the offense. Now, how fast that absorbs when he hears the play call, I'm sure that's not to the level. You've seen a couple of times where like, oh, I got to be over there instead of over there. But then once he gets there, he's in good shape.
Thanks, guys.
Basically, the number one scoring offense in the league of balanced offense. What's the mindset and the challenge going into that?
Yeah, you know what? We have a challenge every week with offenses, but this week it's both hands are full. They are. I'm not quite sure that they have any weaknesses. Usually, you try to make a team play left-handed, but they run the ball well. They have big plays in the passing game. They have 3 complete wide receivers. The quarterback is outstanding. I think the most complete team in the NFL. So we have our hands full. So what that means to us is we are expecting guys to play A football. You have to play A football. Now, playing A football doesn't mean you have to play out of your mind. It means that you have to limit your mistakes. It means you have to tackle well. It means you have to be on your assignments. It means we have to coach well. I have to call a good ball game. That's everyone. That means coaches and players and coaches bring your A game. And, the old thing, that's why we play the football game to see what happens.
Obviously, Jalen Hurts has everybody's attention every week.
Yes.
The fact that your defenders have seen the impact that Justin has had with his legs, do you think that drives home the fact that they can't let him run the way they've seen Justin run?
Yeah. No, I think it does, and little by little, I think that's the way the league is going, with guys that are super athletic that can use their legs to do multiple things. The thing about this guy is he's just not a set of legs. He can throw the ball also. You still have to be able to throw the football to win in the league, and especially in 2-minute third down. and he can do that. I'm not sure I'm not sure that they have a weekness.
With Hurts, what's standing out to you about the way he's protected the football amid all the success he's had?
Yeah. Sirianni, that group, they do a good job of, I know they emphasize taking care of the ball. I'm not sure as much as we do, but I've been with them I was with them for a few years, and I know what they're preaching. I know they're talking about taking care of the football, and it looks like they've brought in, looking at the stats on both sides, taking away the ball and taking the football away and taking care of it. So, but you know what? It's not giveaways. It's called takeaways. So they're trying to take care of it, and we're taking it away from them. And so that's our job on defense, and for us to win the football game, that's part of it. We have to create takeaways and give our offense short fields and give them extra possessions, because they do possess the football the way they run it.
You know, when your team is 3-10 and maybe have somebody, at least some people have at least a little bit of an eye towards the future.
No.
You know,
I don't want to be disrespectful, but no, it is not towards the only future that we have is towards Sunday.
okay, great.
That's okay.
My question is, does it matter to you, do you notice who steps up in these situations? Maybe not tangibly, but intangibly. Does that matter to you as far as, what you have, the kind of, whether you call it character or whatever? Do you notice whether who's stepping up and who's not in these situations when you're out of the playoffs, but you're playing a really good team, where you need guys in the future when you're better, presumably, that they can step up for you? Does that matter?
Well, we're looking to see who plays and who plays well. That would be whether it's week 1, week 2, week 7, week 13, 14, 15. We're looking to see who plays well, who can play winning football. But right at this point, I would say that we're looking to see at some point in our tenure here, you have to win ball games in December and January. You have to. You have to prepare well. You have to learn how to win in these later months. If you don't do that, you're going to be in trouble. So what we are doing is we're building habits. We're building habits how to prepare in December. We're building habits how to work in December. We're building habits how to coach in December. So it's not, hey, because you're out of the playoffs, you do something different. This is part of our DNA, what we're doing. And if it's part of your DNA, it's what you do. There are no caveats to, well, you only do it because of you're doing well, or you do this because you're not doing well. Nope. We approach it the same way. The process is the same. So to answer your question, does it matter who steps up? No, we're looking for guys to play their game, and as the opportunity presents, we're looking to see, can a guy make the plays that they're supposed to make?
To evaluate players based on how many takeaways they get? Like maybe some guy's playing solid, but he's not necessarily taking the ball away. Like when you're evaluating at the end of not to jump too far ahead, but when you're evaluating someone, can you separate the two?
Well, in takeaways, there are a couple of things. We're looking for, hey, do you have strip attempts? Do you attempt to take the football away? That's a big deal. Not just did you get it, but did you attempt it? That's in practice. That's in the ball games. And then we look at if a guy has an opportunity to take the ball away, can he? Does he? And that's a little bit different from when you're talking about interceptions. And then you look at how many opportunities a guy has, and then how many successful attempts, or not attempts, but how many successful plays he had, and then you go, hey, if he had one chance and he made that, hey, he's batting 1,000. So yeah, that's good. If he had 20 and he only got 2, not so good. So in different positions, you'll see that different positions get more opportunities than others. So but ultimately, you're looking for, again, production.
We've got two more for a while about the Eagles skills guys, but how would you describe what Lane Johnson means to them and what they do?
Yeah. More specific.
Just, he's hard
to get past, right? And when you're an opposing defense, how does that challenge you in ways when you're trying to create something?
Yeah. Without going into too much detail, you have to see if you can get his eyes in different places and distract him. Make him count in terms of different guys in different spots. Make the count different for him, and then so now he's got to do a couple of things. He's got to move his feet. He's got to protect, and he has to figure out his assignment. So if you just say, hey, line up here and do this, that's tough. But if you make him do some other things, you have a chance.
Alan, Jalen Johnson's somebody who prides himself on being that number one corner, that guy who gets those big matchups. How do you view him from your perspective relative to that goal, and kind of as you look to the future of these next few matchups against some big receivers?
Yeah. Again, without telling everyone what we'll do week to week, he's been fantastic about going in different places and doing different things. In terms of sometimes he's been on the left side, sometimes he's been on the right side, sometimes he's been in the boundary, sometimes he's gone with a specific receiver. So he is great about doing that. Every corner in the NFL, I tell you, will not do that. They'll say, no, coach, I'm a left corner, and that's where I'm going to be. He is fantastic about doing that. And when he does do that, it helps him in terms of his assignment sometimes. And then it helps me because I can put other guys in different positions to take care of their assignments. So again, I know I didn't answer your question in great detail, but he is excellent about doing it, and I think he does it as well as anyone out there that I see that match.
Good afternoon. How are you guys doing? Outstanding. Go ahead, guys.
Richard, on the blocked field goal the last time out, what was your diagnosis both up front and Kairos part of the operation that went wrong?
I thought you were going to ask about Velas's big kickoff return. No, no, I'm just kidding. So, just a low kick. I think Coach addressed that already, but just really low, a little bit pressure, but not much in the A gap. So we just got to get better rise on the ball, which Cairo kicked the ball yesterday phenomenally. Kicked it really nice, with really good rise, and did a nice job yesterday. So he had a really good day yesterday. So looking forward to him coming out, competing. Obviously, we want to make all our kicks. Every field goal, every extra point, all that stuff. I always want to make all of them. Like, we need all the points we can get, and he's well aware of that, and he's ready to compete. And he is. Go ahead.
He's been pretty reliable for a while. When he goes through a slump, what's your philosophy on how much you involve yourself in the troubleshooting process and how much you just let him be?
Yeah, I mean, it's player dependent. It depends on the player and how they receive feedback and how they receive coaching, which he's really good with that. So some guys like you really involved, some guys don't. You never want to make them worse. You always want to make them better. And like you said, he's been extremely reliable. I mean, I think the guys gave it to me last week, or maybe it was earlier this week, but he enters the game as the most accurate kicker in Bears history. I think it's 89, 90%. So he's been outstanding. And it's like with everything. There are ebbs and flows with the season. There are ebbs and flows in life. So you just got to rebound. He's mentally tough and then come back and kick again, just like he can make 22 straight. He could miss one and then make 22 more straight or whatever. So it's why we play the game. It's a challenge, and we love the challenge, and he's looking forward to competing. So I can't wait to see him kick.
He's missed more extra points than he's missed field goals this year.
True.
Is there any rhyme or reason behind that?
No, not at all. I mean, just everyone's different in each instance that he's missed. But our goal is to make them all. So our job is to make them all. So we got to make those. Like you said, and miss more extra points than field goals. He's 18 to 20 on field goals, which is, I believe, is third in the NFL. So he's a really good kicker. I mean, I'll take a top 3 kicker in the NFL. We just got to make our extra points. So I don't want to get too high or too low on it. It's just football, and we got to do a great job of executing this week, and we got a tough challenge. We're looking forward to playing this team. This is a good football team.
Richard, what did you like about Bayless's kickoff return?
Hey, you want to really? No, I was just teasing earlier. But yeah, Bayless is doing an outstanding job. I mean, you know, we know early on he would have rather been doing what he's doing now early on, but he had I believe that was a 42-yarder. I think he had a 50-something yarder the week before. And what that does is it helps put the offense in great field position. So now you're playing on a shorter field. Now Luke can call his menu from a different area of the field, and it's not backed up. So he's helped out tremendously with that. I think even the week before, maybe another guy had another 50-yard return. So I think 3 weeks in a row, these guys are plus 40-yard returns, and it's a credit to the guys blocking, and it's a credit to the returners taking care of the football, and these guys playing penalty-free and creating field position for our offense. So that's been outstanding. We need to continue to do that.
Is there a curiosity with Vales at all to try to get him on punt returns too at some point this season, just to see how he does going back there, or is he just focused on kickoffs and punt returns will be a thing for the future?
Yeah, I mean, we're just worried about Sunday right now. I mean, I'm not really diving too much into the future. We're going to put the best guy back there on punt return, and right now that's been Dante. He's averaging, I think, 9.2, someone told me a day or two ago, but it's been really good since the mini bye with Dante back there. He's been doing an outstanding job. He's had an explosive or two. I think he had an 18-yard return last game as well. So he's doing a great job attacking the football, and he's earned that spot right now. So
He's a guy who didn't return punts in college. Is it a different skill set? Kid returns and punt returns?
which guy are you?
Vales didn't return punts in college, did he?
He did. Yeah.
What the book says. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, his last year he did. And then-
Yeah, he returned a lot of punts in college. He was good at it.
Is
Yeah.
it a different skill set?
Catching kickoffs and punts, it's totally different skill set. Yeah, most guys would. It's really good if you can be a dual returner, but it's harder to catch punts than it is kickoffs. Kickoff is an end-over-end ball, as you guys know. Guys catch those a lot more. Hang time is different on punts. They can fall different ways, different trajectory on the ball, different spin on the ball depending on which guy's kicking. So a punter can do a lot of different things with a football versus what a kicker can do. So to answer your question, it's totally different skill set, and that's why a lot of kick returners would prefer to return kicks rather than punts. You got to be a grown man to be back there with that ball with 5 seconds hang time, with guys barreling down your throat with not as much space, and catch it and still make somebody miss and get vertical. It's an acquired skill for sure.
He had 18 his last year at Tennessee. He had before that.
Yeah. Yep. No, you're good.
How valuable is what Patrick Scales brings to you on the field and also as a leader off the field to the special teams group?
Yeah, I think Patrick brings a tremendous amount of leadership, veteran presence. It's a good question. He sometimes you never hear about snappers unless something goes wrong, but he's not a guy that's an ego guy, you know. And if you don't hear much about a snapper, that means he's really probably really good. But he brings charisma, personality, veteran presence, like I stated before. And really, he's a leader in that room along with guys that people don't know, like outside of DHC's a leader there, Matt Adams, Joe Thomas, those guys. Patrick does a really nice job, and he still throws a really good football. So it's a good question. No worries.
You mentioned the difficulties in punt returning and the risk-taking that exists. Have you ever had a guy say, no thanks? Like, I'd ask a guy to be a punt returner and then have him say, nah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Some guys will flat out tell you. Some kick returners will flat out tell you they don't want to be back there. They can't judge it. They can't track it. So it's usually have about 2 or 3 of them on a team. If you're lucky, you got 3. But it's usually only about two guys that can really do it and do it at a high level and execute. It's a rare thing, although a lot of people can do it. It's a rare thing to be really good at it. It's like long snapping. Like, there are not a lot of long snappers walking around on the earth, as well as specialists. I mean, you guys know that. I mean, you got 6 or 7 receivers. You got one kicker, one punter. You know.
Is Bayless in your ear saying he wants to get another chance to do it?
I will never divulge what the guys tell me, but I tell you this: he's not turning anything down. None of the guys are. We got a lot of guys that are eager to get back there. Dante's just doing a great job at it, and he's just got to continue to do what he's doing. I mean, he hasn't done anything to lose his job. So I want him to keep going the way he's going because he's helping our football team right now.
What does it do for you as a coach when you have a guy like Halas who has struggles, gets benched, then you give him a little bit more on his plate, put him back in kick return, and he shows you, okay, I've made some improvements, I'm starting to perform, make some better decisions here.
Yeah, I think for any player that goes through anything or anybody that shows progress, and these guys are getting better, like that's what you want for all your players. As a coach, all you want to do is help these guys get better and achieve the goals that they want to achieve while helping the football team win football games. So, I mean, it's the reason why we coach, like to see guys get better. I see people get better not only in football but in life and everything they do, and I want to see people improve. It's just kind of why I get up every day. It fills my heart with joy when guys get better.
In terms of putting him back out there in other roles, though, does it show you anything where he doesn't get down? He's still not saying no. He's still doing all of these things to get back on the field instead of hanging his head or whatever.
Yeah, I think he's shown that from day one. He never really hung his head. He always worked his tail off. He always competed. He just had a couple setbacks that he would prefer not to have, but they were minor setbacks for major comebacks. Right now, he's really helping our football team kickoff return, and he's helping us in other areas. He plays gunner. I mean, he plays on the punt return. I mean, he plays on all phases. He plays on punt return as well. He's just not the returner. So he's helping us for four different phases. So he's got a great attitude, and he's contributing.
What's your book on Britton Covey and what he gives them in a return game?
Yeah, I mean, I think, first of all, the coordinator there, Mike Clay, he did a great job finding Covey. Clay and I worked together for 4 years at the last place I was at, so we won a lot of ball games together, and I got a ton of respect for him as a coach and what he's done with Covey. Covey is a downhill runner, really good football player. He was in college. He can make you miss. He's elusive. And we're looking forward to competing against him. I think he's a good player. He's done a great job with him.
I'm sorry, Boston Scott got a 66-yarder in the last game too. What about him?
Yeah, Boston Scott, yep, he had that 66-yard. I think got 9 returns on the year for like a 27-yard average or something like that. But he's always been a tough player. I mean, both he and Covey, they do a great job of breaking tackles, and they do a really good job with vision, and I think they both have really good instincts. So it's going to be a good challenge. Our kickoff coverage unit is excited to go against him. I mean, we saw that tape. He's done a nice job, so we're excited to cover.
Thanks,
Good. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.